Hi, Joe. Hi, Kevin. How are you
Kevin, how
guys?
are you guys?
Hey,
Good
Darren,
morning
how
or good
you doing
afternoon.
today?
Doing great.
Doing good,
Well,
Darren?
yeah, doing really good. Grateful to to be here, and it's a nice sunny day, so it's a good thing. And welcome to everybody else out there who is attending, and welcome to our webinar. We're really excited to share with you some new exciting news we've got going on. We just recently have been, as a company, came up with a critical action plan, and why we wanted to hold this webinar is so that Joe and Kevin and I could get together and share some great news about this critical action plan and how it works, and then obviously talk about the goal achievement plan that Joe's been working on for years and has really a great bigger plan. And we're going to give you guys an overview of how you guys win and benefit as clients, and how this is going to help out your businesses. And I really appreciate Joe and Kevin being here with me today.
Glad to be here, Darren.
Really a pleasure to be here, and I'm really excited about this new plan too. And we've been actually using it for the past couple of weeks now since it's been launched about a month, 2 months ago, and it's really working out well. So thank you for having us here. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Kevin,
Darren,
thanks for taking time out of your day here too, sir.
Glad to help. No, I'm glad to help. This is Joe's passion, is these plans. So I'm just here to see if I can help in any way. What I'm really here is his timekeeper, Darren. That's why I usually am at the Eagles. I'm kind of his timekeeper, right, Joe?
Right.
You only have an hour, but those who know me, I can speak.
Well, especially on something like this, where we all know how important these goals
Absolutely.
are.
Absolutely.
They really are essential. They really are.
I mean, goal plans like this, they help you change your life. I mean, every successful person I've ever studied.
And that's the basis
of why we
goals. And that's the basis of why we do this, both for personal and for business. Yes.
It's so important, you want to change your life, set some good goals. Ones that inspire you to get up in the morning. So, well, cool.
That's exactly
great.
Right. Yeah.
Well, thank you to everybody else that's joining us today, all of our clients that take time out of their busy day to be here. Thank you. We know how busy you guys are and appreciate you spending some time with us today. And we hope you'll find everything beneficial and useful in our webinar here. So, Joe, do you want to go ahead and get started, my friend?
Yeah, I'll get started, and please, guys, jump in whenever you feel necessary. Now, Darren, just to clear up one question, if anybody has a question or raise their hand, how does that work? Because I know we have a question and answer at the end, but can anybody
there's actually a question and answer button down there on the bottom, Joe. And so you guys are welcome to write us any questions you may have, and we'll reply to them. So, yeah,
we'll reply to them. Okay. All right. So thank you, Darren, and welcome everybody today. The purpose of today's meeting is to, first of all, to launch the new critical action plan and to speak about the reasons why we launched it, and also the goal achievement plan, which has been in existence for about a number of years now, probably 4 or 5 years. And we're going to talk a little bit about Elite's method of coaching. I'm going to talk about the coaching process of how your coach kind of lays the groundwork for the creation of these plans, the reasons why your coach will choose one plan over the other. And right now we're seeing that usually the critical action plan is the perfect plan, especially if you just came onto the coaching process, or if you really need some immediate help or want to get some short-term goals or even midterm goals, kind of under your belt in a pretty quick period of time. So I'm going to explain all that. I'm also going to take a little bit of time to show you. I have some slides later on that are going to show you what the plans look like. Now they're on the internet here on the slide, so you'll get a good idea. But if you haven't seen one before, you can ask your coach for a sample, and they'll be happy. I will send them your coach samples that I have created of each plan, so you can get a good look at what they look like. Please bear in mind that while there are just 2 plans here listed, we can create, modify, change it up, do anything that the coach feels necessary to fit your specific needs. And that's the beauty of these plans, and also the strategy of Elite. So
Joe,
let me just
Joe, real quick.
Sure.
I don't want to run right there, but didn't you just have something recently that you built a plan that had all 3 the term goals or something like that in there?
Yeah. So what Kevin's pointing out is that the critical action plan, just usually it's a list of short-term goals, which has probably a 30 to 90-day window, maybe a year. But one of the coaches came up with this brilliant idea of listing in the critical action plan a series of short-term goals, midterm goals, and long-term goals. So that's kind of a hybrid between the longer version of the goal achievement plan and the very basic critical action plan. So, and I'll get into that more a little bit later on, but yeah, Kevin, you're right. And to your point that was Ed Cushman, who was a brilliant idea and something I want to share with the rest of the coaches too. So again, this is not one size fits all.
As you said, in addition to what they're seeing on the screen there, you can just be a customized program to the nth degree.
Yeah. We can customize these plans, however, and we really emphasize that at Elite because we do not want to take a cookie cutter approach to anything. So there's no one size fits all.
Right. It's just nice because they get that option to be able to work on something and something that's quick turnaround too. The goal action plan is great, but it takes a lot longer to work on that. And it's a lot bigger, a lot grander.
Right.
But the critical action plan is it's cool. Sorry, I get excited
you're right,
about
it. No, you're right, Down. And I'll show the examples later on for those who haven't seen it. It's just a reminder of who we are at Elite, a company that lives by the principle of never putting money ahead of people. So a little bit about our approach, the Elite approach. Again, Elite does not take a one-size-fits-all. We understand that everybody has different needs, whether it's personal and business. So the process is to learn about what are your specific needs, both personal and business. And the reason why personal is there first is because, Kevin and I always have an expression, and we talk about the coaching process, and that is we got to work on the person. We got to take care of the person first. A lot of what's happening in the business owner's life, it can be solved by making sure that the person is taken care of in a way that they understand their role, their true role as a business, as a business owner, as a leader, and taking care of the people around them. So the personal and business needs are very important in terms of our approach to the coaching process. We know that helping you with your business also helps your personal life too. They're one and the same. Your business, and I've been saying this for decades, your business should never overwhelm you. It should never overwhelm you to a point where you just feel like you're reaching the point of burnout. Your business should enrich your life, not overwhelm it. So we find ways. Again, we go back to that not a one-size-fits-all approach. That helps that whole strategy take place. We also emphasize with Elite at the culture of your company, the people, leadership, taking care of the people around you, because we know that your success is truly dependent upon the quality of people you have employed and those that you touch on a daily basis in your community, the vendors, everybody, your customers. So the culture of your company really matters. It really matters to us, and we really put a great emphasis on that. And that's really and that's really short and sweet. There's a lot more strategies, but I wanted, for time constraints, I wanted just to bring about some highlights of our approach to coaching. Anything to add, guys? Anything?
I think you've covered it pretty good, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, I like you said, Joe. We work on people and taking care of people, and everything we do revolves around people. And that's the major difference between us and some of our competitors. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think to your point, Kevin, when you get it backwards, when you focus on the numbers, not that they're not important, they are important, they're critical. Let's face it, we're in business, we need to produce a profit. That's hands down. I'm not arguing with that. But you got it backwards, you'll always be struggling. There's always be a challenge in your life, always be a challenge in your business. When you take care of the component of the people process first, then everything tends to fall in a lot easier.
You could have the best process in the entire world. The people in place, it's never going to fly.
It's true.
Right?
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay. So at Elite, one of the things that we really emphasize is goal setting. Goal setting is where it's at. Now, because we know that people with clearly defined written goals, they achieve more, both in personal and in their business life. They have more productive lives because they have a pathway. It's like if I were to go get in my car right now and I'm in New York and I'm saying to myself, I want to travel to Chicago. Well, I can get in my car and just travel west, and I'll eventually hit Chicago by looking at signs, by knowing I'm going west. But how long will it take me? 5 days, 6 days? Now with a clear pathway, with a map, with a direction, with clearly defined series of goals, short-term goals, like I can cut that down into 2 days, maybe 3 days, a lot shorter. So while you think you're going to get there by having goals that are not clearly defined and clearly written. You may achieve it, you may not, but when you have a pathway, to success, you achieve it a lot more in a quicker period of time. You have less stress when you have goals. Absolutely less stress, because you're going to see the fruits of your labor, and you're going to help. Goals help you hold yourself accountable. But with one, I want to stress one point here. You also need a coach, because like any sports coach, any coach, whether it's golf, whether it's tennis, whether it's football, you're going to do a certain amount of things in your life or in your business, in your trade, to make sure you hold yourself accountable. But what a coach can do that you really can't do yourself is that coach is going to help you hold yourself accountable. So when we talk about accountability, you can do it yourself and it works pretty well. But a coach really, they kind of brings everything all together in that grand scheme, that grand strategy. And again, you have a clear direction. When you have clearly defined written goals with a document, you have a clear direction of what you want to achieve, how you're going to achieve it, and the steps that are necessary to get you from point A to point B, no matter what goal it is. Now, people say they have goals, and I believe that. I believe when someone tells me they have goals, I believe that. But studies have shown that only about 3 to 6% of the population actually have clearly defined written goals. So while you may say, or people may say that, yeah, I have goals, I have desires, I have wants and wishes and dreams in my life, is there a plan to achieve it? Is it written down? Do you have your short-term goals written in a way that achieves your midterm goals and your long-term goals? Because just to say you have goals, and you probably do, everybody really, I don't think there's anybody who's walking around on this earth that doesn't say, in 3 years, I want to achieve this. In 10 years, I'm looking toward retirement. Those are all goals, but they're not really written down. So to achieve your goals, you need a formal plan.
You do. I got to just stress this really quick, Joe, that, I know in my own life, and I know the lives of my clients and those I've talked with, it's like when they have those goals, it fires you up. It gets you inspired in the morning. You're excited to get out of bed. When you know what you want to achieve for the day, I learned that from Jim Rohn years ago. It's like before you go to bed at night, I literally have a journal right here, and I write down the stuff I want to achieve the next day. And then when I wake up that next morning, I'm excited to get that stuff done. And when I slack and I find I go through those times that I'm not doing that, you're not excited to get out of bed and get going, So it's really important that we take the time to set those goals. And that's why I think these plans are so important right now. So thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to distract a little bit.
Please don't be sorry. That's a great point. That's a great point. The very act of crossing off a short-term goal gives you that little hit of satisfaction, and that helps to keep you motivated. That alone helps keep you motivated.
You know what, Joe? Goals also keep you focused when things start going south. We all have bad days, right? We all have things that just, what in the world am I doing today? Everything I touch turns to crud, and but goals are one thing that keeps you in the lines, keeps you back on track, right? So it's between the stress and that alone would be enough for me to have my goals written. How about that?
Yeah,
I didn't know
that's true. That's true.
By the way, I didn't know all this when I was younger. I've learned this stuff as I get older. I wish I would have. I wish I would have.
Tell myself that.
Me too.
You weren't born with this knowledge, Kevin? No?
Pardon me?
You were not born with this knowledge?
No. Matter of fact, I'm learning every day. I wasn't born as much as I thought. How's that?
I know. The older you get, the more you say, wow, I didn't know that.
No
kidding. I know.
Yeah.
But
written goals, one thing real quick, Joe, about the written goals or any kind of written plan. This is really about the plans, but we have a term we use all the time, Joe, and I say this all the time, it's not written, it's not real. Yeah. Because, there's something to be said about that pen to paper, and that's even more effective than keyboard to screen, quite frankly. There's something,
I think so.
There's a connection there that it makes it even more important. It doesn't mean you can't convert it over to digital, but I certainly would write them out first if it was me.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. Well, that's a great point too. That's why there's something about writing, right, Kevin? About writing, how it's another action that the brain takes. It's another one of those physical, tactile things that the brain reinforces whatever you're trying to learn, whatever you're trying to perform. So that's a great point too. Really great point.
Kevin, I got to share this with you guys. I've been doing so much stuff with Elite lately that I kind of lost focus on my personal stuff. And so I actually set aside time to work on that. And I mean, I just got to share this. This was earlier this week. I set aside an hour to work on personal goals, and
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
that's my list
Yeah.
of stuff that I got to work on. I mean, that just shows you,
Yeah.
I mean, we take it serious, you know, because it's so important to
Yeah.
not just focus on
You know,
business too, but
you're
you
right.
know, with my
Yeah.
kids and my relationship and what I want to do with personal things too, because I've been so involved with just business stuff. I mean, it felt like when I first started the shop, you know. So,
Same thing.
yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
again, I go back to what I said earlier. It can't be all about business. It has to be a balance there. There has to
It
be that
does,
work-life
totally.
balance. And when
Totally.
you emphasize on both, but you put a little bit of emphasis on the personal and people around you, you really find that things begin to fall into place a lot easier. Not that you won't have challenges. Kevin mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, every
Right.
day can be a challenge. And in business, I don't remember in the 41 years I was in business, there was not a day that I can remember that, oh, that was smooth, that was easy. No, that's not the way life is. You know, right, Kevin? No,
Sure seemed,
you know,
I know
Wish it
there
was
were,
smooth
I know
sailing.
we had this, I know we had the smooth days. It does seem that way for sure, Joe.
Well, that's when the
you
growth
probably
comes, you
had a
know.
smooth day, but you really, but so, but the thing is, life does get easier when you do have a plan, and that's the whole purpose of this. And goal setting is at the top of the elite strategy. And it's what we really emphasize. It's why we spend so much time at the Eagles course on goal setting too.
Yep.
Okay, so the process toward a plan. Your coach, whether you know it or not, but your coach, especially in the beginning, will work really hard to get to know you and start building that relationship. That's critical. That's critical because the coach cannot make it a transactional type situation. The coach has to make it a relationship. And sometimes, like I have a client that's been a client, in New York, Mike from Cross River. He's been a client over 10 years. And when I call him, it's almost like calling a friend to update on what's going on in his life. So that's the way you get. And I want to establish that, and I work really hard to establish that type of relationship with all my clients. So the relationship part is kind of like step one. From there, the coach is going to learn about your specific needs. And again, I have to emphasize this because, again, we do not at Elite take a boilerplate or what's called a cookie cutter approach to your needs. We look at your business. We learn your business model. That's the next bullet point. Because every business model, it's like a fingerprint. There's no two fingerprints alike and no two business models that are alike. Yeah, a lot of you have a 6-bay, you're doing $1 million a year. You have 3 technicians, 1 general service technician, 2 service advisors, and you could have the same thing in 2 different towns, but still there are things about those 2 businesses that are very, very different. It could be the people, demographics, the type of vehicles you work on, the hours you work, whatever it is. We have to learn that. And that's critical toward the creation of these goal plans. We understand your personal objectives because you have to have personal, like Darren said earlier, he's got to identify and review his personal objectives in life. If not, it doesn't mean anything. No one, you probably heard the expression, no one on their deathbed ever said, boy, I wish I had more time at work, right? No one. So your personal life has to come into this when we look at a long-term or even a short-term goal plan. Then we understand your business objectives because we're in business. You made that bold agreement to yourself years ago that you want to be a business owner. That's good. The world needs quality business owners. But those business objectives are quite different from your personal objectives. And yes, you need to know the numbers. You need to do your marketing plan. You need to have a recruiting process in place. All the basic foundational building blocks of business have to be there. But we want to combine the two. We want to make one just equally as important as the other and put a little bit of emphasis, just a little bit more on the personal objectives. And then obviously we're going to focus on every aspect of your company. This is what the coach does behind the scenes, working with you. You probably realize a lot of this. Maybe it's a good review for you to realize what's going on in the coach's mind, working towards a plan, actually working toward your overall successful business.
And Joe, you got to remember too, for anybody that's watching this that may kind of realize that they may need to talk to their coach. I mean, it's something that a lot of times, especially if you've been working with your coach for a while, you need to have that conversation. If you don't feel like they are pushing you in some of these areas. They may not know you as well as they should. You know, if you don't feel like you're getting everything you want out of your coaching relationship, you gotta have that honest conversation with your coach. I never forget, one of my clients a long time ago told me, this is my first client, and he's still with me to this day. And he told me, he says, I love the fact we're always talking about business. He's like, but you know, sometimes I would kind of like to talk about some of the other personal stuff I got going on. And it kind of woke me up a little bit, because I'd always heard, you know, we got to take this, make this, you know, they're paying me to push, they're paying me to do this stuff. And it was like, our relationship changed after that, because all of a sudden it was like,
Point.
of course I wanted to hear about the family, but you know, to him, it was important to him because he needed me to know what was going on in his personal life. You know, I mean, but it's one of those things, if you don't tell your coach, you can't fix it. So if you don't feel like your coach really knows your specific needs, you have a responsibility to talk to them, let them know that. Say, hey, you know, I kind of feel like we need to go back and revisit my mission statement. You haven't asked about that for a while, and you asked me to do it, but you know, we kind of haven't finished that. All it takes is let your coach know that, because we have great people that work here, you know, and we have great coaches. And if they don't know, they can't fix it. We always say that. You don't know, you can't fix a problem you don't know about.
You know, that's a great point. That's a great point, Darren. You know what? I sometimes will challenge a shop owner or a client, and I'll ask them, you know, well, what are your business objectives? What's your long-term goals, short-term goals in business? What do you want to do in business? They rattle off a couple of things, their issues, their problems, you know, they're in debt or whatever it is. I says, what about personal? What do you got? And then they stumble a little bit. If they stumble and hesitate on their personal objectives, then I know they have it backwards. They have it backwards. They don't, if they have to think about their personal, their family, they have it backwards. So that's, to your point, it's so critical. So critical to have that balance.
We just talked about that yesterday, Joe. You know, talking about one of our clients that really is focused on just business objectives, you know, getting those business stuff done. And it's like, yeah, but the rest of life is still there. What happens when you sell the business? You know, what happens when life happens and you no longer have a business? You don't have it. You don't have a life because you're so focused on it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And
not that business goals aren't important, but you get it. So
as much as we want to separate the two, though, for a small business owner, they're almost one and the same, aren't they?
They are.
For a business owner,
totally
right, Kevin? You know, because the business actually becomes an entity, much like a child or a family member.
Absolutely.
Because it never leaves you. It never leaves you. It never leaves. Even a year and a half after I sold my company, at night I still think about the 41 years I was in business. So it's part of you. It becomes just part of you, part of who you are. It really does.
Yeah.
That's only more reason why you need to have the personal aspect of who you are embedded with all your goals. It's some of the reason why. Yeah. Okay. So my role, the reason why I'm here today, speaking to everybody, I work with your coach, but before I do that, your coach is going to work with you. And the coach is going to come to a point in time. It could be 1 month after you sign up with as an elite client. It could be 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. And these plans, by the way, we could do multiple plans. Once plan is done, we could do another. We can jump from a critical action plan to a goal achievement plan, or go back to a critical action plan. There's just no rules here in terms of what we can do and how we can strategize this. But the coach is going to try to determine or do the best that he or she can to determine your immediate needs. And that's important, because in business and in life, there are some immediate needs. You know, let's say you want to plan for retirement in 3 years or 2 years. That's more of an immediate need. What do we need to do right now? Let's say you want to plan to expand your shop and you need to, construct 2 more bays. That's an immediate need, and you need to do this. Or you're looking at buying a piece of equipment. So those are some immediate needs of the business. You're planning for a big trip to Europe, or your daughter's wedding, or maybe you want to set aside funds for your grandchild's college fund. You know, what are these needs are right now, and then we have to determine your long-term needs. One coach in particular, we did a plan a few months ago where we mapped out the client's next 10 years in terms of what does it look like in terms of when I reach that age of late 50s, early 60s, and when do I have, like, what are the steps I need to start planning for my retirement? How much money I'm going to need, my debt at that time. So there are different needs for different businesses, for different people. And with your input, we clearly define your personal and business goals. The coach does. With your input, though, because we really wanted to come from you. We know that when you help or you create these goals, you take ownership of them and then it becomes real. At that point, your coach is going to determine the right plan for you, either the critical action plan, which is more of a short-term plan, either 3 months to a year, or the goal achievement plan, which can go out to 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. It's a much more lengthier, much more robust type plan. I'm going to show you, by the way, a couple of samples in the next couple of slides on what these plans actually look like. So if you've never seen them before, don't worry, I got some slides to show you. After that happens, the coach and I will meet. And then based upon the coach's knowledge of your needs, both either short-term and long-term, the coach will make a decision. And then the coach will give me the content. At that point, I do the formatting, the structure. I do the plan. I design the plan. I do give a little bit of input, and sometimes I'll rewrite the goal in a way that I think makes more sense. But always, 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 the last bullet point, I will always defer to the coach. No one knows you better than your coach, in terms of your business and personal. So, and that's that is my role and my strategy working with the coach. All good, guys? Anything to add?
Great.
I don't,
Nope.
Joe.
No.
Okay, good. So again, the different plans and why they are different. A little bit about that. Again, they're aligned with your personal and business goals. All right. They have to be aligned. You have to connect the dots between what's personal and what's business, and how you can achieve your personal desires, hopes, and dreams by what you do in your business. So the critical action plan is a short-term plan. To review what I said earlier, it's usually written, it's very short, it's only 4 pages long with the cover page, and it just includes usually 5 to 10 different action items. And it usually, the dates are usually from 3 months, 6 months to a year. It's a quick, short-term, really quick little goals that the client can just check off. And when that's done, I have coaches that come back to me and say, let's do another one. Let's do another one. And the goal achievement plan is more of a long-term plan. This really is a very robust plan. It's probably designed more for those seasoned business owners that really want to take a long-term look at their life and their business. And that plan, like I said earlier, can go to extend out to 5, 10 years, maybe even longer. And by the way, again, just to review what I said earlier, we'll create any additional plan and modify it as needed. So there's nothing written in stone here. And real quick, I want to get to the actual, give you some slides and some actual live images of what the plans look like. Again, the plan is designed for you. There's no boilerplate, no cookie cutter approach here. Again, it helps to hold you accountable. We mentioned that earlier. Again, you'll attain your goals quicker. I gave you that example of a road trip. Once you have a map or you use your navigation from your car or your phone, you're going to reach that destination quicker. It's the same with goal setting. You're going to attain more from life and your business when you have something written, a structured plan that holds you in line and holds you accountable along with your coach. And the feeling of accomplishment, I think this is what Darren said earlier, it helps to keep you motivated. And obviously, there's less stress when you have a plan that you see the fruits of your labor and things are being accomplished in life. So those are some of the benefits. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of slides on what this looks like, the critical action plan. There's a cover page here, and obviously the title is the Top Shop 360 Critical Action Plan. And this is just a sample. It's one made up for John Smith of Acme Auto from Brooklyn, New York, and developed by Kevin Ford of Elite Worldwide. And there's a date. And this is just the next page, just a little bit of content of explaining the basis of the plan and the reasons why. Again, if anybody wants a copy, if you've never seen these before, please let us know, let your coach know. I will send, if your coach doesn't have it, I will send these samples actually of what this plan looks like. Here's
Joe,
the base.
we can just send them out to everybody that is on the
Okay,
attendee list.
we'll do
here.
that.
That way
Make a
it'd be
note,
easy.
Darren, and we'll do that. We'll send everybody attending today, we'll just send them samples. this is the basis of the plan. Here you see one page. There are 8 goals written on this plan, and the first one is create your mission statement. And again, I have to reemphasize that these goals that are written are based upon what you and the coach are working on. All right, they're not just made up. They're not something that we took from a manual or a book somewhere and say these are things you need for business. No, these are things you need for your business. These are things that matter to your business. So again, I have to emphasize this. There's no, you hear too much these days. I read it, I hear it from people, podcasts, that this is the way things should be. Guess what? Life isn't that way. Everybody's different. So we really tried to make this plan specific, designed for you. Number 2 is review and update all job descriptions. Create a telephone procedure. Meet with 3 accounting firms and choose a qualified accountant. So and then the rest of them are just again, they're basic goals and tasks that are really designed to get you a part of your business up and running to help for you to achieve your success. If you notice, the last one is probably the most important on there. Schedule time off for your daughter's wedding. Schedule some time off. Just don't go to the wedding, come back to work. Schedule time off. So again, we're trying to connect both the personal and the business aspect of it. And then the last page is a note page, just to make some notes. Okay, a couple of slides on the goal achievement plan. Like I said earlier, this is a more robust plan. There are images on here. We like to put an image of the logo and some sort of exterior image of the shop on the front page. Again, it's created for John Smith by Bill Greeno and Joe Marconi. My name is on there because this is more of a collaborative effort where I have a lot of input on the plan, where I try because I have a library, by the way. I've been doing these plans probably almost 10 years. So it really, I have a lot of saved content, a library of a lot of these different strategies. So I try to give my input to the coach and help building these plans, but I always defer back to the coach if they want to override what I'm suggesting. We put the mission statement with another image on the next page. Again, a little bit about the purpose of the plan, just content, a little bit of a review of the reasons why this plan is so important and the reason why it works. And this is the difference. Here, this is one goal, and this is a personal goal. We always start with personal goals in the goal achievement plan. And if you see here, it's the first goal is to purchase a new home on 20 acres of land. And then there's a little bit about why that goal is important. And if you look under the first sentence there, it says goal to be achieved by January 1st, 2025. We actually want to put the goal date in there because this is really establishing a timeline for the long-term goal. Underneath that are all the short-term goals that are designed between me and the coach of how you're going to achieve that long-term objective. So we usually have 1 to 2, maybe 3 personal goals, and then we have 1 to 2 to 3 business goals. So let me just stop a second and say, I've written plans for some clients, but on the advice of the coach, with just a goal achievement plan with one goal. That's it, one goal. And that goal could be a 2-year goal, or maybe a 1-year goal, 3-year goal, it really doesn't matter, but one goal. Because there's one thing that stands out in the person's life or business that really matters, that they've been trying to get to for years, and this has to be accomplished. So back to this plan, this is a business goal. So the business goal is to purchase a new building or build a new building to replace my old small building we are currently in, and the goal to be achieved by January 1st, 2025. That's the long-term goal. Underneath that are the short-term goals and midterm goals to achieve the long-term objective. Again, this is more robust. It takes a lot more time, a lot more effort, and it's not for everyone. The critical action plan probably fits everyone. These plans, to be perfectly honest, are only when the coach and you decide you're ready for more robust plan. And if you're never ready, that's fine. That's fine, because we'll keep doing critical action plans until you retire. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't really matter. We also include a chart based upon where you are now and your projected your projected sales over the next 3 years. Some coaches want to project it over the next 4 years, 5 years. It doesn't really matter. Again, whatever the coach wants, whatever the client wants, we do. And also it gives, this chart also shows you not only the sales goals, but the net profit goals for the next 3 years. Okay, I'm really done, guys. And it's pretty much on time too. So open up to questions and answers, Q&A. But unless you have anything to add, guys, anything to add to this presentation, Kevin, Darren?
So I
No, I
just
think
got
you
a
took-
a
Go ahead,
text
Darren.
message from Mary here, Mary and Brian with Weber Automotive. It says, we're on the webinar, happy to see you guys. Is this webinar about, is this a supplement to coaching, or are these plans included, with your coaching? And so, yes, Mary, they are included with coaching, and it's just something all you got to do is ask your coach about, and he can, reach out to Joe and get the critical action plan or the goal achievement plan going with you. I think you guys have already done your goal achievement plan, if I remember right. I thought I saw that go through a while ago, but
Yeah.
your critical action
Yes.
plans and stuff that if you want to hire a new advisor, and you're struggling with that, you want to talk to your coach about that, then we can actually come up with a plan to come up with some steps and help you to do that. That's where these critical action plans can help out with so many different things. But yeah, they are
Okay.
included with your
Okay.
coaching. So yeah.
Good point there, Darren, to add, make sure that was clarifying
Yeah.
that.
And I thought it was interesting that she even asked that. So I hope that answers that for you, Mary. But yeah, we're good. Hope you guys are doing good.
Hey, Mary, good to see
Yo,
you. I
Mary.
know we can't see you.
Good
but
seeing you,
we're-
Mary.
That's
Yeah.
right. We all love Mary.
That's right. We all know and love Mary.
Yeah.
What else we
Cool.
have?
How long is the turnaround to get one of your critical action plans or goal action plans back?
Good question.
That's a really good question. For the critical action plan, after the coach has worked with the client and they define their goals, and whether it's a 3 month, 6 month, 9 month, whatever, they speak. The coach and I set up a phone meeting. He sends me the information, and at that point, the turnaround is under a week, less than a week. It really is
Cool.
quick. The goal achievement plan, that's more difficult, and that plan to write and because
Go
what
back and
happens
forth.
is, yeah, it's a lot of back and forth, Kevin. You're right, a lot of back and forth, and the client sometimes changes their mind, saying, you know what, this is not that important as I thought it was, and this goal at this time is just too difficult to achieve. Let's concentrate on this. So that could take, probably what I'm seeing is it takes 2 weeks to a month to turn around, depending on how willing the client is to review the goal achievement plan, because they're going to get back a document that's 8 pages, 9 pages, 10 pages long. So it takes a lot to review. The critical action plan is just like it's created and it's done. And very, very few times have I ever had to go back and edit that plan and change it.
Yeah,
Hope that answers the question.
it's more of a total action. The critical action plan is exactly that. It's an action plan, as opposed to
Quick
goal
one.
achievement plan being a long-term thought out. You know what I mean? And it absolutely has goals along the way, but the critical
Yeah.
action plan the critical action plan is actually an action plan. And
Yeah.
Joe, I do want to say one thing though, that I think that'd be good for the audience to understand, is that all these documents are living documents. And what we build today, a circumstance could happen tomorrow that would change everything. And the great news about the critical action plan is we can go back into the next day and make a complete change if we need to.
1, 2,
That's the-
3.
That's the
1, 2, 3.
that's the beauty
Yes.
of the critical action plan. It's more immediate, and we know that life gets in the way and changes happen, things happen. I don't want anyone to think that. See, I have not a lot of time. Some discussions with my clients occasionally that I say, you have to have a plan. Well, why? I got a plan. I know exactly what I want to do. Well, to Joe's point, if you don't have a roadmap, how are you going to get there? If
Yeah.
the plan is just a roadmap and keeps
Yeah.
you on focus, keeps you on track. But but a lot of times they want to wait till everything's perfect to get this plan done. And that's why I want people
Yeah.
to understand, get the plan done. It's a living document. You can always make changes or amendments to it.
It's true.
I say this because I'm not writing them, Joe is. But the fact is,
No.
Joe will make any amendments anytime
And I
it's
have.
necessary. It's a living document. It's a living
And
document.
Kevin, I have. And to
Sure you
your
have.
point too, it's just like a football coach, right? The football coach has to start with a plan, his first 10 plays. first
Gotcha.
15 plays. Well, what happens? You'll see the coach on the
Make
sideline.
adjustments.
Nice. They start doing this, right? Make adjustments. And I can tell you personally, I was a big believer in creating plans, marketing
me too.
plans, a workflow process plan. I was a big believer in that. But I tell you one thing, I've never made a plan that I didn't have to down the
Change.
road somehow change and edit. So
Absolutely.
that doesn't, like you say, Kevin, real life gets in the way. It does. And
does.
it's the plans. And don't think you have to produce for your coach that perfect set of goals. Because if you change, if in 3 months the conditions change, now you need to say, you know what, forget that plan. I need something for recruiting because
Right.
the business is exploding and we're looking at a piece of property here. So you're fine. We just change gears. So there's
It's easy.
nothing is written in stone. But like Kevin said, it's so true. You need to start somewhere, memorialize it on paper. You have to have a document. And I guarantee you're going to achieve a lot more out of life and in business.
Positively.
Perfect. Cool. Well, does anybody else have any questions for us? That's the only ones I see here. I don't see any other questions. I think you've done really well covering them all, Joe.
Yeah, good
Okay,
job,
good.
Joe.
Wow.
Good job.
Okay.
I,
Yeah,
I know how passionate you are about these plans, Joe, and you
I
and
really
kind of,
am.
you and I
I
kind
really
of have the same thought process about planning and goal setting. It's just
Yeah.
two critical things, and planning is, I have little OCD issues in case no one knows, and so I have to plan
No.
things.
No.
I have to plan things, or it doesn't work out very well.
Seriously?
Hey, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Cool.
just one last, just one last thing. To your point, Kevin, I take this very seriously. I take
know
my
you do.
role with the league very seriously.
I know you do.
And because of how I started business as a technician and then worked my way into the role of being a shop owner and understanding that transition. And I do want to give back, and I really work with these coaches, and whatever I could do to help the clients. I'm sure, Kevin, you feel the same exact way. That's why you do what you do every day. And it's just a pleasure working with all these great coaches, and whatever I can do, clients
I
reach
agree.
out. If there's something you want to ask me, or you want to ask me privately, or talk to your coach about, just do it. And we'll help you any way we can.
That's
I
right.
want to thank you. Thank you.
we're-
Do we have any more? I think I see another question or not,
Yeah,
Darren?
there is down at the
And
bottom.
Travis
here.
May. How
Travis.
you doing, Travis?
Oh, it's Travis, my buddy
Yeah.
Travis.
This is
My
great
new
stuff,
buddy.
guys. Can't wait to
This
get
is
going on this.
Great stuff, guys. Can't wait to get going on this stuff, is what he
Yeah.
said. So,
Okay, good,
That's cool.
excellent.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right, Joe, good job, buddy.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thanks to
thank you,
everybody who showed up
everybody. I
out there
appreciate
too.
it. Thank you so much. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. All right, take care.
Guys.
All right,
Okay, thank you.
take care. Bye now.
Bye.